I was originally gonna do a scary video for Halloween, but then I remembered I'm a wussy and I'm not ready for the spooks, so here's a video that 10-year-old me will be proud of. So it's 2014 during the holidays. My little bro and I have been begging our hard-working mother for the best console at the time, a Nintendo Wii U. I remember going crazy for all the games coming out for this thing, like Mario Bros. U and Sonic Lost World. Wow, I went from adoring these games to just seeing these as the most okay games I own. Our mom gifted the Wii U to us for Christmas, and I remember screaming in joy. Not really, because we lived in an apartment and I didn't want to be loud, but in my head, I was just screaming really loud. And to my mom, if you're watching this, thank you. This Wii U came with a game I loved so much, a game that I got to play with my friends and family. The game is the reason I keep going back to my Wii U to this day. Oh, and then there's Nintendo Land. I can't blame people for forgetting this game even exists. After all, it was a Wii U exclusive, and for those who don't know, the Wii U was a failure, sadly. The Wii U was marketed poorly, did not have the best lineup of first-party games at release, and was underpowered, so because of that, there wasn't really much third-party games. And it didn't help that this was a strange era for Nintendo. While the Wii U would eventually get some really good games, it did not stand a chance. The 3DS ended up performing better than the Wii U, and most of its games ended up getting ported to either the 3DS or the Nintendo Switch. Sadly, Nintendo had to pull the plug. Pun not intended. But I will always pull out my Wii U just to play this one game. Minecraft for the Wii U, baby. I have too many memories on this game, and I'll be damned if I'll give up my Wii U for this. Oh, and there's Nintendo Land. So, I'ma cut to the chase. This is just a glorified tech demo for the Wii U, and that's fine as long as the core game is fun. Real quick though, can we talk about how the Wii U games had very good starting screens when the game was loading up? We arrive at the theme park, and right off the bat, I have a nitpick. Kinda, you see to move the camera, we use gyro controls. In other words, in order to move the camera, you gotta move the Wii U gamepad, and it's not that big of a deal. There is a way to just press a button and teleport to an attraction. I also want to mention the game's art style. It does a great job at making you feel like you're exploring a theme park. Some games look like they're made from arts and crafts, something like Paper Mario, while some games look like they're stitched together from wool, kind of like Yoshi's Woolly World. And some of the characters look like they're made from robotic parts, really giving off the feeling that you're exploring a theme park. This is where we also meet Monada, our guide. She's basically here to teach us everything we need to know about the attractions, and she'll also give us a gift sometimes. There's also an evil version named Dark Monada, and she attempts to screw us up sometimes. So there are 12 different attractions, and each attraction falls under 3 different categories. There are single player attractions, the multiplayer attractions, and the single and multiplayer attractions. Technically speaking, all the attractions are multiplayer. You see, for the single player attractions, if you connect the second controller or a Wiimote, the second player can actually join the game and actually do stuff like screw up the player or help out the player. We'll talk about that later though. So let's go over all 12 attractions and then I'll rank them at the end. The cool thing about the 1 through 5 player attractions is that the content in them is really good. These feel like full games that you can spend a decent amount of time on. This is also one of the attractions. Depending on if you use a gamepad or the Wiimote, it changes your game style. With the Wiimote, you're given a sword and a shield, and I'm not gonna lie, this was kind of nostalgic coming back to the Wii U and using motion controls. I honestly had to control myself because I kept swinging the Wiimote so fast. I had to make sure nothing like this happened. You're going through automated levels, and it's your job to stay alive and defeat all the enemies. And sometimes there's a boss fight that you have to beat. I did come across an issue with the motion controls not working right. Like, there's a boss fight where you have to defeat a bunch of enemies in a certain way, but because my controls were not working right, it took me a bit of time to kind of defeat. But hey, that gave me a good opportunity to swap to the Wii U gamepad, where I got to use a bow and arrow. By very small chance, if you own a Wii U in this game, I recommend playing this game with friends because it's really fun. Legend of Zelda Battle Quest is really good, 4 out of 5. Just like in Zelda, depending on the controller you have changes your style of gameplay. By using the gamepad, you can play as Olimar and actually tap the screen to toss Pikmin at enemies. I never played a Pikmin game before, but if the game is like this, I really gotta check out the series. You're able to collect syrup or nectar, I'm not too sure, but you collect it and it levels up your Pikmin. There's a couple of challenges like a time trial and a boss fight to make things a bit more challenging, but when using a Wiimote, you get to play as a Pikmin, and I look like an oversized Pikmin choking on my meat. You're mainly doing melee combat, but hey, those same Pikmin rules apply to you. Just like with the normal Pikmin, you can level up, collect power-ups, and Olimar can throw you. There's also a versus mode, but I didn't really care enough to come back to this mode. The base game is already good. 5 out of 5. Just like in the previous two attractions, depending on your controller changes up the game style. In other words, haha, you can't get me. Aw crap, stay away, stay away. When using the gamepad, you get to play in Samus' ship and fly around. The controls are a bit hard to get used to, but you'll get used to it. You may be above from danger, but you're still a flying target. Meanwhile, for the Wiimote, it's the same thing, but you're on ground. You're a walking target. I think I had more fun using the Wiimote because you actually get to do some cool things like use the grappling hook and turn into a ball. There's also a few boss fights in a versus mode, which is neat. Honestly, it's kind of sad. For the longest time, this is what Metroid fans had to getting a Metroid Prime 4, and I think I just pissed off a lot of Metroid fans for saying that. Look, this is still a fun game. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Okay, now we're on to the multiplayer only attractions. These games rely on the Wii U gamepad for player 1, while the other players use the TV and Wiimotes. All three of these games involve player 1 versus the other players, and that does sound unfair at first, but it's how the Wii U gamepad is used, which allows the game to be a bit more balanced. Kinda. In Mario Chase, player 1 plays as Mario and has to run away from the other players, which are Toads. There are also Yoshis that can chase down player 1, and when they get a hold of player 1, they can alert the other players of your location and stun you. Okay, so because of how the Wii U works, I can't really show footage of gameplay on the Wii U gamepad. Well, I technically can, but I don't really have the best setup for that, so I'ma just give you what I can give you. Player 1, like I said before, has the gamepad, but you have a very small screen compared to the other players, which have a more better camera and screen to work with, but you do also have a map, which alerts you to everyone's locations, even the Yoshis. The other players have the TV, and they have a much better point of view, and they also have a dash attack. Sometimes a superstar would spawn mid-round for player 1 to grab, but it is a bit of risk and reward. Oh, and for some reason, this game has like a feature with the Wii U's actual camera system, but it doesn't really affect gameplay. Okay. Who needs a face cam when you have the Wii U gamepad? Sadly, there's only 3 stages, which is a shame because this is one of the better ones in the game. Stage 2 adds muds, which can slow you down, and Stage 3 adds slopes, which basically put you in a one-way direction. Overall, it's a 5 out of 5 game. Okay, so I never played Luigi's Mansion before, but to be honest, they need to bring this back. In Luigi's Ghost Mansion, player 1 is a ghost that only appears on the Wii U gamepad. Player 1 is in charge of hunting down the other players, which have flashlights to slowly defeat player 1. This game is one of those games that's really fun to play with your friends, but it's also one of those games that can easily ruin your friendship with them, kind of like Among Us or Pico Park. Even though player 1 is invisible for most of the round, the game does make sure to make it fair for the other players. Monada will appear with flashlights to make it harder for the ghost to hunt down the other player. There's batteries that will increase your flashlight and even make it stronger. But the most genius mechanic of them all is the thunderstorm. Depending on where the thunder strikes depends on what part of the stage gets lit up, revealing player 1. It makes it fair for both players. Just pay attention where the windows glow and you can easily avoid the lights. If you're not careful, you get revealed. And even if player 1 gets too close to one of the other players, you can see a little symbol, question mark, I can't remember, but something appears above their head to let you know, hey, Player 1 is nearby, be careful. Not to mention Player 1 also has some unique moves. There's a dash attack and a chargeable move which disables all the lights. The only trade-off is you're visible for whenever you perform these actions. And would you look at that, there's 5 unique stages. I'm gonna be honest, this is a perfect 5 out of 5 attraction. I really want to see a concept for this game return, because it's honestly a fun idea for a fun online multiplayer game. In Animal Crossing Sweet Day, Player 1 controls 2 characters at the same time by using the 2 joysticks. Meanwhile, the other players are collecting candy and getting fit. I don't play much Animal Crossing, but what does collecting a bunch of candy have to do with Animal Crossing? It has to be something I'm not getting. I don't know. I just feel like someone like Kirby would have made more sense for this game. If I had to be honest about this whole attraction, it's an okay game. It definitely does not compare to the top tier Luigi's Ghost Mansion, but at the same time, it does play differently enough to separate it from something like Mario Chase. There's only 2 stages and both feel, look, and play similar. They don't really have you changing your tactics. I guess the thing I like most is the presentation, which then again, all the other attractions have a similar art style like I mentioned before. I'm gonna just give it a 3 out of 5. Okay, so far we have gone over half the attractions, and they've been pretty fun so far. At worst, it's been okay, but hey, that's better than bad. Before we go over the remaining 6, let's talk about the hub world, or lack thereof. Okay, so when playing the attractions, you can earn coins by playing the games. Sometimes you get rewarded with 2, depending on what game it is, I guess. But what you can do with those coins, going back to the theme park or the main lobby, I guess, you can head to the tower and play a mini game where you have to drop a bunch of coins and fill out all the slots. By completing a coin mini game, you can either unlock a statue from one of the many attractions, or you can unlock a button which does something. You can also unlock music for a jukebox. One of the things I always thought was a shame was how there was nothing to do besides the attractions and the coin games. If you always been to a theme park like Disneyland or Nintendo World, or in my case, Six Flags, there was always stuff for you to see on your way to the other attractions. There was always stuff to see like mascot characters, shops, live events like a band playing. How cool would it be to be walking to Luigi's Ghost Mansion, because who would be stupid to pass up on that attraction? And you got to see characters like Luigi and King Boo right outside the attraction. There are tons of Miis and they're everywhere, but they use Miiverse, a dead service. But wait a minute, there's a train. I wonder what that does. Holy crap, it's flying in the sky, like all trains do. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. Oh, it's just the 12 attractions again, but now it's a tournament. Lame. Yeah, that's disappointing. I was expecting something a bit more grand, but hey, there's those fireworks Nintendo was so proud of for some reason. Okay, now we're on to the single player only mini games, but that is a lie because like I said before, by connecting a Wiimote, player 2 can join in, I guess. In Yoshi's Fruit Cart, you are tasked to draw a path for Yoshi to collect all the fruit before leaving a stage. Sounds easy, but the challenge is you gotta draw on the Wii U gamepad, and the fruit don't appear on the Wii U gamepad, so you gotta look between both screens to figure out where the fruit is. As a kid, I hated this attraction because of how annoying it is looking up and down back between both screens. But I did find there was a way to make this a bit more easy. Just look at the patterns on the ground. Sometimes the game does mixes up things by adding number fruits that you need to collect in that order, and there's also a check mark power up which allows you to leave a mark between both screens. And player 2 can help as well. I spent like 5 minutes moving the Wiimote around hoping something would happen, and it did. I wasted my time. 2 out of 5. But I should mention, this game does remixes music from Yoshi's Story, and after playing that game recently, I adored it. Okay, this is one of those games I know I suck at, but yet I still have fun. I do not like rhythm games. I'm not really the type of person that plays those games, so you're not really gonna see me talk about Friday Night Funkin' or Rhythm Heaven. But bro, this octopus has me so scared, I'm actually trying to get good at timing my beats. So by using the very catchy music, your job is to match your movements to the other person beside you. But the challenge is sometimes the screen will kind of shake things up, sometimes the camera changes, sometimes I think the Wii U gamepad and the TV screen swap places. It's that one reason I keep messing up, having the screen constantly change, and it doesn't help that there are hazards that player 2 can shoot away. Yeah, it's just hard for me to understand. 3 out of 5. Oh boy, where do I begin? I don't like this attraction because I suck at it and I'm not having fun. There, that's my review. Okay, I'll be fair. In this attraction, you tilt the gamepad to move the character through this Donkey Kong obstacle course. But you gotta be careful because you go too fast, you go too slow, you play with a second character which can slow down your movement, but it can really screw you up. There's only one stage and it's one giant course, and like I said, you really got to be careful. You are gonna fail a lot, and that's okay because you're supposed to learn and figure out the best route. Sometimes the games add some new stuff like blowing into the microphone, which I keep forgetting the Wii U has. Look, I already have anger issues and this game is just bringing the worst out of me, so 1 out of 5. I'm not having fun, okay? If I had to say anything nice, it's the presentation again. Actually though, it would be nice to see a game in this art style, like a future game. I can imagine like a future Yoshi game taking advantage of like a chalkboard art style. Okay, for this one, you gotta hold the gamepad vertically to play the game. I'm gonna be honest, this is a fun attraction. It's fun to shoot the ninja stars with the gamepad. And when I mean shoot, I mean you actually flick a ninja star at the enemies. There are different kinds of enemies. Some of them you have to defeat in a certain way. There are different techniques to master. Sometimes there's a boss fight. It's just really fun. And it's fun replaying to go for the best score. In other words, making sure no one survives. Player 2 can even join and stun an enemy in place. Once again, the art style and music is really good. It reminds me of Paper Mario. I love it. 4 out of 5. Once again, you better hold that Wii U gamepad like you're ready to scroll through TikTok. In Captain Falcon's Twister Race, you tilt the gamepad to drift past hazards and a bunch of other turns before time runs out. Player 2 can appear and play as Monada to destroy the hazards, which gets rid of half the challenge. I did come across an issue with the main controls, the twisting, if you would, with the gamepad. It was probably just me, but there are times to where the gamepad wasn't working right, so the game would pause, and I'll have to lay the controller on the ground, like on a flat surface, so it can reset, but it will unpause without me being ready, and that would often get me screwed over. If it wasn't for that one issue, it would be a lot more fun, so 3 out of 5. And for the last attraction of Nintendo Land, it's Balloon Trip Breeze. And would you believe me if I told you, it's another fun one. This is definitely one of the most peaceful out of all the attractions. For some reason, it's giving me nostalgia of going to school, specifically after school, and playing online games. Does anyone remember Friv? Did anyone grow up with that, or was it just me? In this attraction, you use the gamepad's touchscreen to make your Mii fly and avoid hazards. You can collect these balloons to increase your score. There's even a bit of risk and reward. If you go to the water and let this fish spawn and dodge it before it gets you, he will drop a power up. Player 2 can even join and blow hazards out your way. There's even a mission to where you have to get to the end without dropping this package, and this whole attraction is just a joy. 5 out of 5. So that's all 12 attractions. One thing I forgot to mention is there's actually a achievement system with the stamps. I don't know, I just ignored them. There's not really much of a reason to get them. As far as I know, there's not a reward if you get them all. But hey, let's do a quick ranking, even though you probably already know what I think about each attraction. At number 12, it's DK's Crash Course. Great presentation, but my anger issues do not have this kind of patience. At number 11, it's Yoshi's Fruit Cart. It's cute and fun, but I don't know, I just wasn't that engaged. At number 10, it's Octopus Dance. When I mastered the art of dancing, I would think of this octopus as my spirit animal. Also Squidward. For number 9, Captain Falcon's Twister Race. If it had better controls, it will be higher. For number 8, Metroid Blast. Still better than Other M. I'm just assuming, I never played that game. For number 7, it's Animal Crossing Sweet Day. It's fun, but lacking. Number 6, Mario Chase. Because of this attraction, I now have a phobia of toads. For number 5, The Legend of Zelda Battle Quest. It's fun, but it's not my fave. For number 4, Takumara's Ninja Castle. It's fun to play when wanting to mix things up, in other words, holding the gamepad vertically. For number 3, Balloon Trip Breeze. It's fun and peaceful. For number 2, Pikmin Adventure. It's fun, but it can never top number 1. For number 1, Luigi's Ghost Mitch. This game is a genius way of taking advantage of the Wii U's gamepad and multiplayer gameplay. So that's Nintendo Land, a game that came and went. This game is just a forgotten relic left on the Wii U. And you'll think they'll reference this in the actual theme park, but no, as far as I know, there are no references to Nintendo Land. I'm pretty sure the last time this game was even mentioned by Nintendo was in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where Monica can be found as a spirit. Not counting Smash Bros., this was a genius way of combining Nintendo's many IPs. It sucks, cause honestly, there's a lot of potential for a sequel. I can imagine a potential sequel for Nintendo Switch 2 using other IPs like Kirby or Star Fox, even using the mouse controls, but that's just me being delusional. However, it seems like Nintendo's better off making new games to show off their latest hardware. I'm sorry, but unless Monada is teaching me things in the game, I'm gonna pass on Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Well, that's the end of this video. I hope you all enjoy and thank you all for tuning in. And if you haven't, may I please ask, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 500 subs before the year ends. Thank you and bye. Have a good day.